in the hell did they do that? How did the Cleveland Browns do that yesterday? I don't really want to think much about it. A wisp of wind off of Lake Erie, Mother Nature wearing her Cleveland Browns jersey yesterday, whatever it might be, to push that kick off to the right. But it was the 60 minutes that led up to it. It was how the Browns started that game, a fight in pregame, no Deshaun Watson, the undefeated San Francisco 49ers, and they took them down. What a win for the Browns yesterday. What a victory Monday. Ryan was saying before the show, we're typing up ready to go. He goes, I cannot believe that I am typing Victory Monday in our show preview for the day. It is a glorious, glorious morning off the shores of Lake Erie for the Cleveland Browns. They're riding high. They pull off one of the best wins that I have ever seen as a Browns fan. It's up there for me. I think that might be the best regular season win I've ever seen from the Browns, at least since 1999. That's when I start my fandom. That's when I start remembering. But I'm telling you, what a win for the Browns. This feels so special for so many reasons, for what this might propel us to the season. All of those things are possible today because it is a Victory Monday right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Good morning. A very happy Victory Monday. Ryan, the coffee, I'm on the hot train today.
Tastes a little bit better every Monday morning. We see that win column go up.
So sweet, man. You wake up a little more pep in your step. Feels like fall. Oh, man, everything is rolling for the Cleveland Browns right now. And the fact that you did it at home on top of that, I know there are a lot of people. I know there are a lot of 49ers fans. We'll talk about that. Yeah, P.J. Walker could have made a mistake here or there. Yeah, there was some decision-making from Kevin Stefanski. All of that, it just is so different when you look through it of the lens that the Browns got a win and they knocked off an undefeated team, a juggernaut of a team, and really showed me something I was not expecting, obviously. A lot of people had the Browns just getting smoked in that game. Was it perfect? By no stretch of the imagination. But there were some really big things that I take away from that game. There were just so many things that I look at and I say, the fight, the chip on the shoulder. I'm not even talking about the fight before the game, but I'm just talking about that this team showed up. And I tweeted that to start with the scrum before the game. I tweeted, this team had every reason and excuse to just roll the footballs out. Hey, man, we'll put an effort forth here, professional effort. We'll lose, and nobody will look any different to us if we lose. And we'll move forward. We'll get Watson back, and we'll go on the run that's needed. And they had every excuse and reason to do that, and they didn't. And you got to give credit to the players for that, for believing and saying, we're going to make a statement here today. And you have got to give credit to the coaches. A lot of love going to Jim Schwartz today, as it should. You have got to give Kevin Stefanski his credit today. There were some play calls in that game that were beautiful. That Kareem Hunt touchdown, you faked the sneak with Harrison Bryant. You love it. Now, the P.J. Walker decision in the end zone, he takes account for that. Stefanski said he shouldn't have thrown it. You want to talk about not putting the ball in that situation, sure. And if you want to be a cynic, yeah, they had to look at the win. And Mother Nature just pushed it right. I will not apologize for actually having something break the Browns' way finally. I can't. I'm not going to do that. You were at home. It's not an easy place to kick. The karma that Phil Dawson was the dog pound captain and smashed the guitar. Yeah, he played with the 49ers. Don't tell me there was a little karma there with Dawson just pushing that kick a little bit to the right. It was so amazing. And as that game went on, Ryan, I had to keep pinching myself to say, we're in this. And if you want to look to the 49ers, they made the mistake of leaving us in that game. And yeah, McCaffrey got hurt and Debo went out. I've got no patience for that this morning. Oh, they lost their all-pro players. Anybody talking about Jack Conklin or Nick Chubb or even Deshaun Watson that didn't play in that game? No. You want to try to give all the credit or give... The thing is, people are trying to not give the credit to the Browns. And some of you Browns fans out there aren't even giving credit to the Browns. You want to go out there and say, well, the 49ers lost that game. They lost that game. Brock Purdy, and if they'd have just made that kick. Dude, get out of here with that. There's nothing that is going to rain on my parade today for the Cleveland Browns getting that win. And I talk about it from the standpoint, this feels so different. Like, this win, I don't know if I've ever felt this way after a win in the regular season. The closest that I have is when you beat Pittsburgh in the playoffs. That was on the road. There were no fans. It was COVID. Most of us were in our basements and all that. But you kind of went into that Pittsburgh game feeling like, all right, we got a shot. This was a game that everybody had written you off. This was the most bet game on the 49ers. The other most bet game was the Eagles. And look how that played out. What a crazy day in the NFL. Kind of took it in the picks, but we'll get to that later. Everybody had written you off in that game. And they showed up and found a way to win. I feel like this is a game that could change the trajectory of this team for the rest of the season. Does it solve all your problems? Not necessarily. But when I look back on this season, and if the Browns get to where I hope they get to go, no doubt about it, we will be pointing to this game and saying that was where it turned. That was the game that set us up for the success that I hope we have for the rest of the season. There's a lot of football to be played, but just everything that it did, everything that you flipped to now 3-2, you go into a game that you are favored on the road. You should be able to beat Indianapolis. They looked like crap against Jacksonville yesterday. Gardner Minshew's with the start. You need to win this game on Sunday. Like, it just all starts lining up for where the Browns are at. And we'll post this as our Twitter question this morning at Matt Fontana Show. Was this the most gratifying regular season win since 1999? Was this the most gratifying win the Browns have had in the regular season since they came back in 1999? Simple yes or no question. Jump in the Twitter inbox at Matt Fontana Show. At Matt Fontana 83 is mine. Ryan is at Ryan Tyler 33. I feel amazing today. I feel so good. And that's something the Browns sorely needed. There was so much of the buy on Watson's shoulder. Then, what did we get before the game, Ryan? Now we're getting more information on Watson getting leaked out, that it's the subscapular muscle and that there's a deep contusion there. And I'd be lying to you if I didn't start here we go again. The stuff's getting leaked out. And then for them to go out and just quiet all of it, where we could focus on the game. You didn't have to think about anybody else. And just the gutsy performance from the team, I think speaks to a bigger picture of the culture that is trying to be built here. When you talk about culture, you talk about belief. Those words are interchangeable in my opinion. Because when you have built a good culture, every Sunday or Monday or whenever you play, you have a belief that you're going to win. It doesn't matter who you're playing. The Chiefs feel like they can win every game. The Eagles feel like they can win every game. Now, certainly you don't. And I know the 72 Dolphins were already popping champagne. I didn't know Larry Zonka was even on Twitter, and he's already sending out champagne gifts because they get to celebrate that their streak of being the only undefeated team in football. The Patriots were, but they didn't win the championship, so that's where they hold on to that. So they get to pop bottles now because they get to hold on to that. Congratulations, I guess. But you know you're not necessarily going to win them all, but it's the belief of finding a way to do it. And as I look back on it, Ryan, I don't know how they found a way. It was not an easy path. This wasn't as simple as our quarterback's really good, our running back is really good, we're going to go out there and go toe-to-toe. The Browns needed a little luck. They got it, but they also took advantage of some situations. Defense played out of their minds, forcing Brock Purdy to his first interception. Shout out to MJ Emerson. Purdy was rattled yesterday. And if you want to say it was the weather because the football was, I don't care. You got into his head where people were arguing all week leading up. Brock Purdy's not getting a lot of love and he's a top quarterback. You took it to him. Yeah, okay, Debo and Christian McCaffrey going down. McCaffrey at one point you would go, all right, they'll give him the football and it'll be it. I'm not apologizing for that. Was Brandon Ayuk still on that field? Did Kyle Shanahan pull a hamstring? No, he was still out there. Brock Purdy was still out there. They could have found a way. And if you really want to look at it and say, yeah, they should have made that kick. Okay, 41 yards, west end zone. I don't care. I don't care. Like, even if he made that kick, even if Jake Moody made that kick, I'm still going to feel really good today. The fact that the Browns took it to an undefeated team, in my opinion, the best team in football, and there were elements of it that you took it to him. I want to pull this stat up this morning. I saw this this morning about what the Browns defense did to Brock Purdy yesterday. So this came from Nick Wagner, who writes for ESPN. He's their 49ers coverage. Actually, I think he's their ESPN or NFL Nation guy. The Browns played man coverage in 71% of their dropbacks yesterday. That was the highest that they played all season. Brock Purdy was just 7 out of 17 with a touchdown, interception, and sack twice, and a 12 QBR. In man coverage this year, the Browns are allowing a 7.5 QBR. That's scary. When you can play man coverage the way that you can and then afford an extra rusher to help Smith and Okoronkwo and Myles Garrett, that is a defense that could take you a lot of places. The stats are out there. It's the least amount of yards that have ever been allowed through 6 games or through 6 weeks or whatever it might be. I mean, this defense is just incredible of what they're playing right now. Jim Schwartz, we were already throwing bouquets at him. That was his Mona Lisa yesterday, man. That defensive effort that they gave yesterday was phenomenal. Then you talk about the offense. Everybody's going to go to the P.J. Walker incompletion in the end zone that should have been a pick. After the game, P.J. Walker said, I shouldn't have thrown that. I should not have thrown that. He should have gone down, forced him to burn a timeout, force more time off the clock. Sure. Do I just chalk that up to a guy that hadn't had a lot of game reps? Yeah, probably. People want to use that as a reflection of Kevin Stefanski. Why do you even call that play? Or if you call that play, you're in the headset saying, if it's not there, go down. If it's not there, go down. Shades of what? Red Right 88. If it ain't there, throw it in the lake, right? Okay. That's fine. There are critical things of this game. Okay. Jed Wills with that downfield thing. To be honest, overall, Jed Wills played all right. I thought Ethan Posick had a really good game. Michael Dunn filling in on that offensive line, playing well. There are certainly things to be critical of in this game. That decision right there, it is one that you win, it's not a big deal. You lose, everybody this morning is standing out there at the stadium with pitchforks and torches going, fire Kevin Stefanski, get him the hell out of here. As a stupid decision. You found a way, though. And in a game like that, I needed the Browns to just find a way to win. They did. And that goes back to what I believe they're trying to build here and what is moving on. Was yesterday a lot of heat taken off of Kevin Stefanski? Or was the heat put on him more? Did they win despite him? Or was that something that you can look at Kevin Stefanski, who's always going to be a polarizing figure as the Browns head coach? I think a lot of heat had to come off of him yesterday. For people that wanted him gone, you need to be quiet for a little while because of how that team played. You want to try to divide it up and say that was more Jim Schwartz than Kevin Stefanski? I can't buy that. No. You have got to give him credit this morning. You have got to give him credit that he beat an undefeated team with a backup quarterback. Defense or offensive line or however they played, you have got to give credit to Kevin Stefanski that his team went out there and beat an undefeated team with a backup quarterback. I feel amazing. I felt so good screaming in my living room like so many people did watching that game. I saw it, Ryan, just start leaking. And I just go, just push it, just push, just go, just get right. And he missed it. And the Browns have, to our Twitter question, is that the most gratifying win the Browns have had since 1999? gratifying is the word that we ended up using, Ryan, but really I look at it from this standpoint, like I've not felt that way after a win in a long time. I have not felt that way after a win in a really long time. Were all the chips on the table for this game? No. This was game 5 of the season for the Browns. It was a really tough team. And I said last week when we started the show at this exact moment, Monday morning, that the Browns were still going to be in a good situation. Regardless of that outcome, they still were going to be in an all right spot. Now, you're in an even better spot. And you got that win to, I believe, propel you to some big things this season. So you bottle that up on top of no one gave you a chance. No one gave you a prayer in that game. And you did it at home. I got to say, yeah, Ryan. Like this is the best that I have felt after a Browns win in the regular season since 1999. We've had some that we've upset the Steelers, or you go back to the season of dreams of 07. You outdueled Cincinnati. That one felt really good too. Prisoner of the moment, yeah, probably, possibly. But this one just feels so different. It's a Victory Monday. We'll open up the phones, 216-262-7901. You see it right there on the screen, 216-262-7901. Is this the most gratifying win for the Browns since 1999? And who are you giving your game balls to? Are you giving it to Jim Schwartz, Jerome Ford, Kareem Hunt showing up in the run game? Give one to P.J. Walker, maybe. P.J. did okay. We'll talk about him coming up. But you can jump on the phones if you want, or in the Twitter inbox, at Matt Fontana Show, at Matt Fontana 83. Ryan, cast your vote. Is this the most gratifying win for the Browns since 1999?
Well, I can't say that I was watching football in 1999 or any time before about 2010 when I have memory. However, I will say, yes, for me. And it was just such a breath of fresh air to be on the other side for once. And as soon as that money line went to the Browns' favor late in the game, shout out Tipico, I went and edged my happiness, and Matt, I've never been more happy to lose 20 bucks
so you cashed? Yeah. Wait, you took the Browns, right?
No, well, so no, I went and edged my happiness. So I bet the 49ers money line as soon as it went to plus 105.
All right.
That way, you know what?
All right.
So I've never been more happy in my life to lose 20
a bet. There you go. That's fair enough. I stayed away from it. I've found that betting on the Browns, I just don't like it. There's joy and happiness when they win. Yeah, it might have been better if I'd won 20 bucks or something like that, but kind of stay away from betting on the Browns, but maybe I should have. We had an all right day yesterday. We cashed out there on Tipico just a little bit. We'll tell you about our picks later. But, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Even at the end, there was time. You felt like there was a chance they were going to get them back down the field. And I think maybe that's why it's a little more gratifying in a way. You didn't beat them 41-3. Now, that feels great. But there's something about that excitement. There's something about coming down to the final drive or the final play that you're on edge. And that's the fun thing about sports is when you on your edge of your seat, you're watching every play. You're watching every single thing and you're rooting for this and just get after them. And there was a lot of excitement. There was crowded pockets and tough throws that it was just so much. It was like a movie. It really was like watching a movie that turned out the way that you wanted to. There was excitement. There was some downfall. There was nervousness. And the Browns just continued to find a way to win the football game. And I will give them so much credit for doing that today. We'll take some calls if you want to jump in. 216-262-7901. We're up on Twitter, at Matt Fontana Show. At Matt Fontana 83 at Ryan Tyler. I do want to talk about a group of people out there. DJ Hoodad on Twitter, Cujo on Twitter. They just missed the field goal. You want to play that? That's fine. That's fine. Play it out how it is. That's cool. I can't do that. I just can't. For as much crap as I've seen, for as many missed field goals as I've seen when they crunch time matters, come on, man. Not today. Like, I'm not going to apologize that things started breaking the Browns' way. And listen, the Browns could lose the rest of their games this season. Something catastrophic could happen. They don't win another game. They miss the playoffs and all goes to hell. I don't care. I'm not feeling that way today. I don't get very many of these. Browns fans don't get very many of these Victory Mondays. And especially one that feels like this. And I refuse to sit here and argue with people about the 49ers. Woe is them. Oh, they just missed the field goal. They would have won that game. And, they didn't have Christian McCaffrey, and they lost Deebo Samuel. And that's more impactful than the Browns, because the Browns knew that they didn't have Conklin and Chubb and Watson before the game. Oh, poor 49ers. They lost those guys in the game. The hell out of here. Shut up. I can maintain you're not a Browns fan. If you don't feel good about this game, I don't know what. I can't have much to do with you this morning. You want to use this as some narrative for Deshaun Watson. You want to use this to try to further that Kevin Stefanski should be fired. I'm sorry. Everything feels good right now. And I'm not going to be talked on off this ledge. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to argue with people about how they should have won or how they should have lost that game. No way. Not today. Not today. And again, does it win me anything? That was one win. That was one win in the column in the stat book. Okay, fine. It means more than that. That's why we can be fans. That's why we can do what we do, because it does mean more. The win-loss to me, my job's not on the line like some of the, I'm not. Today I feel great, and I refuse to be robbed of any of it from some of you cynic fans out there. I've got no time for you. I frankly don't. And I just question it. Seriously, are you a Browns fan? If you're gonna come with the tact that they should have lost that, then you might just be so emotionally scarred from this. And you want to know what? I feel bad for you because you can't fully enjoy today. I can't. I got nothing for you. If you can't watch that game and understand also that is football. That's football. That's one of the reasons that the NFL has catapulted ahead of every other league, because it truly can be any given Sunday, and it's only one game. You lose a basketball game in a shocking fashion, you got 81 more to play. In football, the upsets are what make it beautiful. Now, you could be on the other side of the upset, and there's something to be said about, well, maybe we'd like to get there one day because that means we're a team like the 49ers or like the Eagles. But a team like that yesterday that grabbed that win. Because make no mistake, they took that from the San Francisco 49ers. There are 49ers fans that will probably tell you they lost. And again, these stupid Browns fans out here that are trying to tell me that the 49ers coughed that game up. I want to believe, and I'm going to believe, that the Browns took that away. And it started before the game. With that scrum and that fight that happened before the game. I don't want to go back to the Freddie Kitchens, Mike Pettin era where they encouraged fighting. Remember when they went to, I think it was Indianapolis, and they went there for a fight, got into all these it was the joint practices, and they got into all these scraps, and there was nothing behind it. And then Freddie Kitchens, obviously the Myles Garrett thing. Well, this is different. And what it told me was that this team believed. And if you want to sit here and make some sort of statement on Kevin Stefanski, the one thing that you cannot take away from him yesterday is that his team still believes in him and still believes in Jim Schwartz. You want to continue to say Schwartz is good. You got to give credit to Stefanski for hiring the guy. Don't forget that. Do not forget who hired Jim Schwartz here. That was Kevin Stefanski. Great hire. The fact, X's and O's, yes, will get you so far. And it's a very important part of the game. But the belief and the fact that locker room is still very clearly behind Kevin Stefanski and this coaching staff tells me a lot. That tells me maybe everything that I need to know. Because I'll tell you this. If you don't have a scheme, yeah, you're probably going to lose. If you don't have good players, yeah, you're probably going to lose. But if you don't have belief, you for sure are going to lose. If you start that game by saying, well, we'll see how this goes. Kick it off. All right, we'll run through the motions here. You have no shot. And frankly, from the start, even with the fight, it told me the Browns believed. It's easy for me to sit at home and just go, I don't know, it's going to be a rough day. I'm not one that has to practice all week, suit up, and go out there, put my body on line, and try to go to win. That's a hard thing to do, to get a team facing all the adversity the Browns were facing yesterday, to get them to play the way that they did. And to start there, it tells you, A, number one, they're fighting for their teammates too, because that started with one or two guys, and everybody kind of ran over and helped. You see a fire. You see it. And now you know what you have. Something tangible to say, guys, see what happens when we believe? See what happens when you just put a little faith out there, it all works. Now, I need them to do that again on Sunday against the Colts, and I need to do it when we play the Ravens again, and there's still big games to be had. But this was a win that kind of vindicates everything that they've been doing. It shows that they can win football games when the chips are down. That's a powerful thing. Then, if you get Deshaun Watson back, where this takes you. Let's talk Watson for a second. And I don't want to talk about these continued reports coming out from Schefter on it's the subscapular. How many people are, want to know one of the highest areas of concentration for WebMD searches yesterday? Probably Cleveland, Ohio. Because this fan base has a lot of doctors in it. I've found that over the years. And it comes out that he's got the subscapular, I'm probably even saying it wrong. I don't even know, whatever. It's the muscle deep in his shoulder. So here I am thinking it was just like his deltoid. It's apparently something like way inside of the shoulder. And people start Googling, all right, well, what does that mean? Is surgery on the table? And all this stuff. Like, then the Schefter article quoting sources that I know Reflog and a lot of people had a lot of fun with of, he could be back against Indy, and we hope he's back against Indy. Yeah, if my aunt was, my aunt had a blank, she'd be my uncle. Ifs and buts, candies and nuts, would have a great Christmas. Yeah, I believe that Watson's going to be back. I hope he's going to be back. But Ryan, a win like that yesterday actually speeds up my, not intensity is the word I'm looking for here, my need for Deshaun Watson to come back. Like, my level of needing Deshaun Watson has actually ramped up. Because I don't mean to crap on P.J. Walker today. P.J. Walker's a practice squad quarterback making $22,000 a week. And he beat the San Francisco 49ers. Yes, he might not have really contributed as much as you thought. Had some nice throws. Oh, Amari Cooper. Oh, Amari. We'll talk Amari Njoku. David Bell with a big first down yesterday. How about that? But if anything was reaffirmed yesterday, it was the importance of having Deshaun Watson back. But now that you have this win, and I don't want to use the word gifted because it sounds like it was handed to us, but now that you have this win, the importance of getting Deshaun Watson back has now ramped up even more. Dude, you got that win. You don't look that gift horse in the mouth. You take advantage of that, and you go out there, and you better beat the Colts Sunday. You're a road favorite. It's 2 points. By the way, that line will go up when Deshaun Watson is cleared. If, please, cleared to play, that line will jump at least 1.5 points, if not 2, maybe even 3. So if you like the Browns this weekend, I'm sure it's going to be heavily bet on Tipico. Use that code BIGPLAY150, get those bonus bets. It's going to ramp up. He'll play. You're a road favorite. You should beat the Colts this weekend. You should beat them. And I'm not looking at past anything but Indianapolis. But now that you have that, you want to say, let's keep this train rolling. So the importance, I think maybe even more than the Baltimore game and more than San Francisco, and that's revisionist history and hindsight, knowing how it played out, we know that. The Browns have to have Deshaun Watson play this weekend. Could you imagine bottling up where we're at right now, the momentum, and you go out there and you just smoke the Colts. Smoke them with Watson out there, and hopefully he plays well. It's ramped up. The importance of getting Deshaun Watson back has certainly ramped up. To the offense yesterday, and we've got some sound yesterday, a lot of people for P.J. Walker, okay? The question, you might stick in some people's craw, is that touchdown or the end zone throw right before the field goal. And it was clearly a, kind of an RPO, play action, and the onus should have been just go down. Instead, he forces it. Who got their hands on that football? Was it Fred Warner again? I know he had the pick. There's a linebacker, got his hands on the football. And thank God it falls incomplete. First up, here is PJ Walker after the game, asked about that play, and he takes it.
Yeah, that was a terrible mistake by me. That right there was something that I knew I shouldn't have did. Came back to the sideline, told Kev I shouldn't have made a stupid decision like that. And, we made the field goal at the end of it, and God was with us on that play right there for sure.
God was with some people yesterday, PJ, because I had about a heart attack. And I think the only reason I didn't have a heart attack was good Lord was looking out for me. Guy didn't have reps. Okay. And he made a bad decision. You want to read into Kevin Stefanski, should never called that fine. Here's Kevin Stefanski after the game, sound courtesy of the Browns. What happened on that PJ Walker play?
He knew he was not supposed to throw that ball. He knew it right away. But he's that kid, he's a fighter. And
that was every ounce of Kevin Stefanski not lighting up PJ Walker. That was it. Shout out to Ben Axelrod formerly WKYC. Now he's at Awful Announcing. And Ben was going back and forth with people on Twitter about how much do you comfort/pad PJ Walker, because he is still an NFL quarterback. Now, you want to get critical. Yeah, he's a practice squatter, but he is somebody that has started games in the NFL. This isn't a JV quarterback. This isn't somebody like on a varsity team. JV quarterback has to come up and play, and you do nothing but run and don't even throw because you're just going to put him in harm's way. For the Browns to make a win, you needed PJ Walker to do something. Now, he threw 2 picks, but made some big throws. Made some really big throws. That was a mistake. But you need to still be able to call plays. And I'm not being a blind defender of Kevin Stefanski here. He probably knows that he shouldn't have done that, but there's an element of you still need your guys to make a play. Like PJ Walker's your starting quarterback. The ball is going to be in his hands. Like it or not, you needed to make a play. They were also going for the win. Yeah, a field goal got you the win, but you put it up to a touchdown and you forced them to go to the length of the field? How many people in years past, let's flip it, they make that field goal. How many people had been bitching if they had to run the football there and say, oh, no guts. No guts. You didn't go for the touchdown. You go for the win. What are you doing there? They did. They did. The other one, the punt, the fake punt to try to get them off sides. People complained. Well, why'd you call a timeout there just to run that play? Critical. Let's talk about it. So do most people remember the play I'm talking about? They put Harrison Bryant under center on the punt with the starting offensive line to try to draw the 49ers off sides. Okay, they didn't jump, and you had to take your 5 yards and punt. Now, the play prior, Kevin Stefanski called a timeout. And there was an element that at the end of the game, you really had that fear of crap, are we going to need that timeout? And people were in my in my Twitter inbox telling me what a mistake that was from Kevin Stefanski. You lost the element of surprise. And I said, no. Because you came out of the timeout and then still faked it, or at least gave the appearance of the fake. I think the timeout helped that. I do. Because imagine if you're on defense and they just run out and they line up. You're sitting there going, maybe they didn't really think about this. But out of the timeout, you go, well, wait a minute. They must have felt good about this, or they still called this. I don't know, I guess. It could go either way. There were critical decisions in the game that didn't necessarily always go your way. But I loved the fake to Kareem Hunt that scored that touchdown. That was phenomenal play call. The receivers are getting open. And this battle of Stefanski on the people that are pro-Stefanski or anti-Stefanski, you can make no mistake that his game planning and play design, some of the best that I've seen for the Browns. Up there, I don't want to say he's up there with Kyle Shanahan like that. That's unfair. That's rarefied air there. But guys, get open. You want to be critical about him as the head coach and some decision-making. That seems to be where most people lie with Stefanski. They like him as an OC. They don't know if they really like him as the head coach. But there were some play designs and some play calls yesterday that were phenomenal. But I'm going to give him credit for being aggressive there at the end with PJ Walker. You tried to score a touchdown and to make them go the length of the field. It didn't work. And should PJ Walker have just gone down? Yes. Is that a situation where more game reps? Sure. Was Stefanski in his ear maybe screaming at him? I don't know. I don't have the walkie-talkie. I don't know what was said or not going into it. There were some parts, though, that left a little wanting. But you take that for what it is. Jim Schwartz, man. He's already, probably the favorite. He's the new son of Cleveland. People love Jim Schwartz. And I heard this from Kevin Stefanski after the game, where he gave a little insight about practice this week and how maybe we should have known going into the game that we'd have that little swag. Here's Kevin Stefanski talking about a practice this week, sound courtesy of the Browns after the game.
Schwartz and the defensive staff were outstanding all week, really. I go back to our Wednesday practice. I told the team after practice, I said, if you measure a practice by how it sounds, we had the best practice of our season, because the energy was off the charts, and it was led by the defense. It's led by Obo and Z and Dalvin and Juan and all those guys, Joe, you name them. They brought the energy all week. They were so excited for this challenge, and I thought Coach put those guys in position to go make plays.
All we have ever heard is Jim Schwartz cultivating a group and it around the energy and the swag. He encourages it. That's what he wants. And that was a game that you won off the defensive effort that started on Wednesday. Jim Schwartz, man, just all the defensive metrics, all these things that tell you just how good this Browns defense is. Thank God they hired him. Thank God he's here. And where this will take you from now. Tell me that defense doesn't walk into 76 Lou Groza Boulevard this morning with the most swag that they've had. So they're already a swag-filled team anyway. You put that performance out there, they walking on water right now. Walking into that facility saying, did you see what we did yesterday? I'm sure it's going to be fun film study today in Berea for the defense. Offense, sure, there'll be some things you got to look at. But, man, this defense. And we've discussed this before. How far can this defense take you? Where can they go? Watching that yesterday, I believe you can take it to anybody. And now I think they believe it. Yeah, that Baltimore game was tough because right before the game, the letdown, I think, frankly, the emotional letdown of not having Watson contributed to the Baltimore game. Do you know what the Browns had? It sounds like from Kevin Stefanski starting on Wednesday, they knew he was not going to play, which, again, is the right decision to be made. I'm not revisiting that from last week. If you listen to the show or you see the clip, you knew how I felt about it last week. You knew where I was coming from. The Browns made the right decision there because you want to know what? Starting Wednesday, that defense took a little accountability. That defense said, we'll go out and win this football game for you. And it started with some swag, started with a chip on their shoulder, and then they went out and performed and did it. They went out and performed and did it. Where does that take them from now? Oh, defense, you know what you get to do on Sunday? You get to get a little fat in Gardner Minshew. Yeah, they got Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor's back and all that, but tell me they're not going to be all jacked up. They made Brock Purdy look like the Mr. Irrelevant pick. They made Brock Purdy look like the last pick of the draft, and he was the guy that started his career 10-0, hadn't thrown an interception all year. They ate him up. Ate him up with that man coverage. I brought that tweet up earlier from Nick Wagner of ESPN. Browns played man coverage at 71% yesterday. It was their highest percentage all season. They held Brock Purdy to a 12.6 quarterback rating in man coverage. You know what a lot of quarterbacks like? Man coverage, because they have one-on-ones, usually, in man coverage. They just got to make the right read and make the throw. And any coach should tell you, you take your shots on man-on-man. Didn't work out yesterday. Didn't work out. Yeah, did their run game take a hit without McCaffrey being out there? Yeah, sure. I ain't apologizing. Browns had to deal with that forever. Browns had to deal with nobody's crying when Nick Chubb. Well, I guess we were, but I mean, we're all crying when Nick Chubb went down. But you got to give the Browns so much credit for that. So on the national stage, yeah, it might be a little more on the Jets beating Philly because it was Jets, but I saw it everywhere, Ryan. People were looking at the Browns going, do you see what they did? Did you see what that Cleveland Browns team did? And the thing is, if I really want to get angry for a second, we're not some 1-4 piece of crap team. We're not the Panthers, okay? We're not some team in the fight, not that we have a pick, for a top 5 pick. Was this the coming out party for the Cleveland Browns? Was this finally it for the 2023 Cleveland Browns? Hell yeah, it was. This was finally it. where it's the second time I've thrown my pen. We put him on notice. We put everybody in the league on notice. And frankly, I'm so happy to be there. I want to close the chapters of sneaking up on teams and trying to ruin teams' playoff hopes in December. And you try to go, they didn't expect us coming. I'm sick of that crap. I want to be the favored team. I want to be the team that people think are actually going to go win football games. I don't want to sneak up on anybody more. And if yesterday was that coming out party to just kick the door down and tell everybody in the NFL, we're here, I think that's what happened. And the same thing, you didn't just beat some other 3-2 team. You didn't take it to Baltimore. You took down the juggernaut in the NFL. You took them down. And you are the talk of the town in the NFL. God, do I love that. And the players feel that, and the players know that. And they can just kind of, I want to just bottle this up and know that there's a game to be played Sunday. And I'm going to feel damn freaking good about it today. I tell you that. And I'll probably still feel good about it tomorrow, and I'll probably still feel good about it on Wednesday. But eventually, I want this just to be bottled up and then go out there and I go, I want to play a game today. I wish the Browns were on Monday Night Football tonight. Get our bets with Tipico coming up a little bit later. Cowboys, Chargers. Interesting matchup. I wish we had a game today to be able to go out there and just keep it going. Because that's the other thing. You have done the work. You've put this momentum in. You want to capitalize on it. And you want to go out there and string together all these wins. That's what I want to see the Browns do. Other parts of that game yesterday. Jed Wills. We always seem to end up talking about Jed Wills. He had that one bad penalty, and I was waiting for this morning, Ryan, of the PFF grades that are out. And they haven't done them yet. I'm assuming they still need to do the actual film review. That offensive line, missing 2 starters, played pretty well. And I saw the Kareem Hunt usage yesterday was fantastic. It was one of my favorite things. Normally we do on Mondays my good, the bad, and the ugly. I guess we can do that here a little bit, but it's all good. I refuse to write anything bad or ugly from that game. But when you talk about Ford at 84 yards and Kareem Hunt at 47, you can win a lot of football games with 130 yards divided between your two backs. 5 yards a carry for Ford. Against the defense, like a run defense, I was very good in the 49ers. That offensive line was opening some holes. What I really think I liked, and I usually rewatch the games on Monday or Tuesday, so I'm excited to do that when I get home. I saw a vision out of Jerome Ford that I really hadn't seen yet. And I don't know if it was the holes were opened up a little bit more. Maybe just some more time out there. Kareem Hunt ran like Kareem Hunt. That was just getting Kareem Hunt back to old Kareem Hunt. And I think he needed a game or two to get back in the flow of not playing, and I think he's there. But I saw something with Jerome Ford yesterday that I really hadn't seen in a couple of games with him. His vision was better. I saw him hitting kind of like Nick Chubb. That's high mark, I know. But I saw some cuts that, like, just mostly the cutback and the zone scheme that the Browns run. There's usually a lot of cutbacks, and there's a hole that's not always necessarily the one that you're in. You got to wait. You got to jump to the other one. And I saw just a little bit of that from Jerome Ford yesterday. You also have to give credit to Kevin Stefanski for running the football. They got equal 34 carries to 34 pass attempts. And if you want to tell me that 34 pass attempts was still too many for P.J. Walker as a backup quarterback, I can listen to that. I understand it. But they ran the football when they needed to. Give credit to the offensive line. Because that's what Kevin Stefanski did after the game. He said, Bill Callahan, Michael freaking Dunn. Thank God I know it was a procedural move, but he was not on this team at the end of training camp. And they brought him back. He needed to start. He played well, and you got to give Jed Wills. I'm giving that whole offensive line kudos today. DeJuan Jones, Ethan Posick. Just on the watch, I thought Ethan Posick played one of the best games that I had seen him play. With an injured knee, by the way. Just on the watch of the game. I thought Ethan Posick played well. The Jed Wills penalty, but I'm going to give him flowers today. I just am. Dude, Amari Cooper. That catch that I tweeted the picture out of it, the still frame. He only had 4 receptions, by the way, which is a little shocking. think I've entered. You need to keep Amari Cooper here. And we play the numbers game, and we'll probably try to get Jack Duffin on again soon to talk about that. We're going to have Ashley Bastock on this week. I'm excited. Ashley, we couldn't connect with her last week. Cleveland.com reporter. Ashley's the best. So we're going to have her on to talk about this week too. But there was an era that a lot of people are right now, okay, like, Wyatt Teller. I saw Jack tweet, like, enjoy Wyatt Teller, but he's probably gone 14 million over the next, 14 and 14 million over the next 2 years. That's tough. I kind of want to keep Amari Cooper. And that's easy to sit here and watch the season that he has had thus far. Even if that is one that you don't quite get the value on that return, dude, his footwork, his route running ability, and even times of separation where, Amari Cooper, let's call it for what it is. I don't know if I think he's playing to a top 10 wide receiver level right now. Like, I want to say, I think he's borderline top 10. I really do. But on any other given time, you would not say that about Amari Cooper. Top 15, maybe, nice wide receiver. But there's been like some risk. I mean, the injury last year, I'm not discrediting his injury last year. There's something I'm watching this and I'm going, is this the same Amari Cooper? And that's crazy because I always believed he was very good, but I think he has even played to a higher level than I've seen. And somebody tweeted me this and asked me, of the best wide receivers that I've seen since the Browns came back in 1999. Number one, hands down, I don't know if this will be touched for a long time, is Josh Gordon. That 1 year, I know the substance abuse problems. I will die on this hill that if you created a wide receiver, if you went to a factory and said, give me size, hands, speed, route running, out the other end might come Josh Gordon. So I'll always have this thing with Josh Gordon. Number two, I did put Braylon Edwards there. But no doubt about it, Amari Cooper is either 2 or 3 on that list. And I did put him 3. Jarvis is there. And I put Dennis Northcutt in there just because I like Dennis Northcutt. But like watching what Amari Cooper has done, I'm so impressed. I need to keep him here. Even if it's not the smart, like, financial decision, there's an element that I want Amari Cooper here. And watching that game yesterday, just super impressive. All right, we're going to open the phones up. 216-262-7901. If you want to call, give out your game balls. And also, is this the most gratifying win that the Browns have had since 1999? I don't have the screen up here.
We got Joey from Dallas.
All right, Joey, Dallas. All right, streaming us on a big player on the social media platform, if you will. Joey, welcome in. Victory Monday here today. Joey, do you think that was the most gratifying win for the Browns since 1999?
First of all, happy Victory Monday, a great Victory Monday, Matt and Ryan.
That's the best.
To be honest, I did not believe that the Browns had any chance yesterday on Sunday, and I was actually touring the Dallas Cowboys Stadium.
How's that?
During the game, and I got to see the fourth quarter, and I thought it was going to be same old Browns. I mean, I've seen a lot of fourth quarter drives in that stadium where the opposing team comes back and makes the game-winning kick, and I think after when Moody missed that field goal, it reminded me a lot of the Christmas Eve, 1 in 15 season with Hugh Jackson.
Chargers.
So yeah. I would say it's definitely up there, and it's a great way to keep this Browns season trending upward. We'll see how they play against Indy, and I think we got a favorable schedule coming up. So it was a great victory yesterday.
Yeah, Joey, good. Appreciate you listening down there in Dallas, and he's so right. Like the schedule that you have now laying forward is really you can make some hay here. I should have asked him. Joey, if you're listening, tweet back what do you think they charge for a tour of AT&T Stadium?
I'm sure he's still listening.
Joey, tweet us back, man. Let us. I'm just curious because my wife and I toured Fenway when we went to Boston. Red Sox weren't even there. Bro, it was $40 a pop, and there were hundreds of people there. And I sit there and I go, the Red Sox are probably making more money on an off day on tours than the Guardians make on a Tuesday night. That's unfair, whatever. But I'm just curious. He said he was touring AT&T Stadium. I don't know what they charge for that. But Joey's right. You had that little fear at the end because you just wonder, can the Browns close this out? And that kind of goes back to a confidence level, right? 216-262-7901 if you want to join us like Joey did. We need that as a fan base, right? We're late in a game. You feel like, all right, we still got this, right? And there's a lot of scars for us, and there's a lot of, to Joey's point, there's a lot of games that you go back and you go, man, it doesn't go our way. You know who needs that even more than us? The players. The players that at the end of the game, you could say, we've been here before, we've gone through this, and we can get it done. Going back to what Kevin Stefanski said, that Wednesday's practice was energy-filled, and you had a lot of players that were hyped up, ready to go. What are a lot of those players? What do they have in common? They're veterans. Think of the moves that Andrew Berry has made. Juan Thornhill won a Super Bowl. Zadarius Smith, in the playoffs, Pro Bowl type player. Obo Okoronkwo, younger guy, but was on that Rams. Like, I get it. So you bring in guys. Dalvin Tomlinson's played a lot of football in his career. Even Amari Cooper to that point from a couple years ago. You bring in these guys that have been in these situations before to lead some of the other ones. Like, I look at Greg Newsome and Grant Delpit and guys that maybe haven't been in some of the biggest spots to say, guys, this is how we can close out a game. Jerome Ford, this is how we can close out games. And the belief that you are going to get it done. That's powerful stuff, especially late in a game. Especially late in a game. Twitter question is up, at Matt Fontana Show. Was this the most gratifying win for the Browns since 1999? And again, we'll take your calls, 216-262-7901. I voted yes. Ryan, our Twitter question this morning, 65-34. Yes, people feel like it is. Joe tweets, while everyone will talk about the Saints and Patriots games, those were the upsetting the Drew Brees team, and then when Peyton Hillis and Mangini took it to the Patriots, that was a fun one too. This has to be it, says Joe. This year, the expectations have been high on this team unlike before. After two disappointing games against rivals due to weird circumstances, this game completely showed our relevance. It's a good word. That's something I was kind of talking about earlier. The relevance that the Browns now have. The fact that they have arrived and showed them that could all come crashing down. You know, you fought the Colts, we're having another different conversation. But the Browns needed that. The Browns needed this little swag, this little step up to kind of see where it is. Great Scott with a good tweet. Baker's debut was still his favorite game. That was ending the winless streak, the Thursday Night Football, the Bud Light Dilly Dilly. I forgot about that game.
Yeah, the victory fridge.
The victory fridges. Yeah, that was a damn good win. That was a damn good. And even to Joe's point, those Saints and Patriots games were great. The Dilly Dilly, that game 2 of the season against Cincinnati when Derek Anderson got the start and just went nuts against Carson Palmer and the Bengals. That was great. And the playoff games are hard because like that Steelers game again was a great. There was another game that I always bring up, and I always confuse on what day. I just remember it was a late game. It was snowing, and we sacked Ben Roethlisberger like 7 times. But the same thing. I think the Browns finished 4-12 that year. You got this win at potentially the most opportune time of the year because now you can ride this, man. You can ride this for a little while. And that comes back to, again, the onus that, God, do they need to get Deshaun Watson back. Could you imagine that lift that they come out Wednesday and say Watson's going to play? I'm holding... If I've learned anything over these last couple weeks with this whole thing, it's... I don't really want to read into it anymore. I can't read these reports anymore and make any real decision. But, like, God, right, could you imagine that? Could you imagine that if they come out Wednesday, we're all still riding high and they go, Watson's playing? There will be critics, okay, to what level, how's the shoulder feel, all that. But the lift that it could be for this team be very impressive. We'll see. All right, Twitter inbox is open, at Matt Fontana Show. We're up on Twitter. We're up on YouTube. As always, you can follow us on Facebook. Our IG page is at Matt Fontana Show. We have a lot to continue on with the Browns. Victory Monday. It tastes so sweet. It feels so good. We're going to go around the league when we come back, too. We'll take a look at the rest of the games, how they played out. Ravens did get a win. Bengals did get a win. Steelers were idle. So from that standpoint, not necessarily a perfect win, but even more of a reason why you had to get that win. Because you imagine where we'd be in the AFC North right now with the Ravens and the Bengals both getting wins over the weekend. We'll talk about some other upsets, no undefeated teams. We'll wrap up the show at the end, too, with our Monday Night Football picks. Grab us in the Twitter inbox. You want to jump on the phones, 216-262-7901, 216-262-7901. 888-866-7901. If you want to jump in and talk about that Browns win yesterday, hand out your game balls, talk about the importance of that win. Was it the most gratifying one since 1999? We got you all covered. Man, what a victory Monday it's going to be here on Big Play. So don't forget, coming up at noon, Chico, noon to 2, iHeart app. We stream there every day. Get the show replays as well. Reflog. I'm sure that's going to be a fun show tonight with everybody on Reflog. And then, of course, the return with Josh and Maria Cribbs. It was funny as getting ready for Sunday Night Football last night. You know what I always kind of throw on to get ready for that, right? Bobby Carpenter, Anthony Schlegel. Nice win for the Buckeyes. Good cover there, Ohio State. Well done for me. Freaking Oregon. Dan Lanning is villain number 1 from this weekend. What an idiot. What a moron. We don't go around the league in college, but Dan Lanning, good Lord. Whatever. Ohio State with a nice win. Don't forget, Sunday nights, 8 o'clock. It's B. Carp. It's Schlegel. They talk nothing but Buckeyes. Got Reflog coming up. So we're everywhere you need. It's Big Play. We're when you want us, where you want us, and how you want us. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and, of course, the audio stream right there on the iHeart app. Get signed up with Tipico, though, folks. You want to place those bets? What can I tell you about my parlay yesterday, Ryan? Little action. So I'm not going to lie. I had a rough Saturday with college. Came back, didn't have a good slate at the 1 o'clock, kind of turned around at 4 o'clock. Rams did me well. But what I did yesterday on Tipico was this. I like these little 3-leg parlays. And people say, oh, stay away from parlays. Here's the parlay that I played yesterday. Wan'Dale Robinson over 27.5 receiving yards. He had 50. James Cook over 50 yards rushing and the under. There's a nice little cash there on Tipico. Use that code BIGPLAY150. We'll get you your picks for tonight. Cowboys, Chargers. Cowboys still favored, if I'm not mistaken. I believe. Should be a fun game. Can't wait for it. It's going to be fun. We'll get our picks later. But, folks, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about betting $5-10. Little interest on a Sunday night game. Little interest on a Monday night game. Use that code BIGPLAY150. You deposit $50, you get $150 in bonus bets, plus a future dog pound $30 bet. And you can play basketball. Hockey is up and oh, that's on Saturday night. You know what I did win to turn around? Blue Jackets live. Smoked the Rangers.
There you go.
Nice little win there for my Jackets. So it wasn't a bad weekend. We came out ahead. Certainly did. Get signed up, folks. I love Tipico. I love the interface. It's so easy to use. Plus the boosts. Let's save the Monday night boost for later. We'll get to one of those coming up. Big Play 150. Use that code. Get signed up with Tipico. It's a victory Monday. It feels damn sweet, man. Damn sweet today. We'll continue talking about the Browns. We'll go around the league. We got you locked and loaded right here on Big Play. People are all fired up today. The texts are great. Tweets are great. Feeling good on a Monday. That's just how we kind of roll. Welcome back. Matt Fontana Show right here on Big Play. Follow us on Twitter at Matt Fontana Show. Steadily growing that count there. IG, which is always fun. And, of course, streaming on YouTube at Matt Fontana Show. We're all here. We got you locked and loaded. Let's get into it. Around the league we go. Young Ryan Tyler. Some games kind of helped the Browns out this weekend. Some did, some didn't. Let's get to it. We start with Around the League.
All righty. Well, Matt, let's go to London again. How about this? Ravens beat the Titans 24-16. Titans not looking great in that first half. However, a second half comeback fell short as the Ravens lead the AFC North 4-2.
That's it. Why can't the Ravens? They are so bad in the second half of games. Like, they cannot close games out. It's actually kind of impressive. I'm angry because, the Ravens won, but also they also covered. Like, I took the Titans plus that 4.5. Didn't happen. Titans are fried. They're cooked. Tannehill got hurt. They had to go to Malik Willis in that game. Vrabel won't make the end of the year. Mark my words. I think he's going to get out of there, fired or not. Tannehill blows. Derrick Henry had a Derrick Henry type game. He averaged 8 yards a carry. He showed up in the second half. They got nothing going for him. I think it's borderline fade the Titans the rest of the year. They suck. But to the Ravens' point, they just fumble this in the second half, and I don't know why. And I could make the case, man. I don't know if they're a good football team. Like, I really don't. So when I look at it from this, they are 4-2. Who have they beat? The Texans, who have turned into a pretty good team, but that was the opening game. Nobody knew what C.J. Stroud was going to be. They beat the Bengals with an injured Joe Burrow. Then they beat us with Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and then they beat the Titans. They lost to the Steelers and the Colts. I think the Ravens suck. I really don't think they're very good. And now, do you know what gauntlet they're staring down? They have the Lions this upcoming weekend. Okay, that's fine. They'll beat the Cardinals, Seattle, then us. They have a stretch to end the year. Chargers, Thanksgiving weekend. Rams, who I think are a little spicy team. Then how about this? Jags, 49ers, Christmas, Dolphins. They better get fat while they can, because they're going to have a really tough stretch starting Thanksgiving there for the Ravens. I think they suck. I don't think they're very good. Sorry, I don't.
Alrighty, well, the Commanders upset the Falcons. Desmond Ridder got his first loss in his collegiate and NFL career at home. How about that, Matt?
I thought the Falcons, Kami showed back up. Sam Howell to 3 touchdowns. I think Sam Howell might be good. I don't know. I can't trust the Falcons. The thing is, for Desmond Ridder, those 2 interceptions late in the game when he was trying to drive them back down, the one where Arthur Smith is like, dude, what are you doing? They still have a quarterback problem there. If I'm the Falcons, and I know there was news on Kirk Cousins over the weekend, he said he's not going to waive his no-trade clause, so he's off the hook there. What Atlanta could be if they had, they started finally throwing to Kyle Pitts, which is nice. I think they realized, they split 26 carries between Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson. Drake London's starting to show up just a little bit. If they had Kirk Cousins on the Falcons, they're a playoff team. They are. If I'm Atlanta, I'm still calling. And I go, I know he didn't want to waive it, but is there any way that he'd come here? I think they're just a quarterback away. That's what I get for trusting Atlanta. Sometimes when I make my picks, I ask myself, can I trust this team to cover? And that's what I get for trusting Atlanta. That's my bad. Well done, though, for Washington, excuse me. Gritty performance, gutsy performance. Well done.
Alrighty, well, the Bengals get their second straight victory at home against Seattle. Geno Smith, not a very good day. 323 yards, 2 picks.
Kind of a sloppy kind of game.
It was a very weird game, but the Bengals come out top, and they cover, winning 17-13.
Burrow had a couple of touchdowns, only threw for $185. He's still not right, which is a little scary that they're able to win. Here come the Bengals, man. They're back to 3-3. Don't sleep on that. And I'll tell you this, I am not sleeping on the Bengals. There are people that I trust that really believe that they're still going to win this division, that they're going to come back and come roaring back. They're getting Jamar Chase the football. Again, you got to keep your star players happy. And Jamar Chase, wearing that 7-Eleven chain because he says he's always open, you got to give him the football. They targeted him 13 times. That's what you need to do. You run the ball when you can with Joe Mixon, but you need to throw the ball to Jamar Chase. The interesting thing down there is, do the Bengals just move on from T. Higgins at the trade deadline? He came back off the injury. He only had 4 targets. They might be sending that message that he's not a part of this moving forward. Do they just trade him now? Try to get a piece for the push for the rest of the playoffs? We'll see. Bengals are still a scrappy team. And I'm not completely done on the Seahawks either. They're not a good team. They're not a bad team. I think they're just they're a measuring stick team. You beat the Seahawks, I think you got something for it. They're kind of a measuring stick. I think they'll keep it around 500 for the year.
Alrighty, well, Jacksonville stays hot with their victory over the Colts, 37-20. Travis Etienne once again continues a very good, looking like a career year for him. 2 touchdowns on 18 carries, 55 yards, and Gardner Minshew with 3 picks.
I watched that game. I had a lot of interest in that game. I had some credits on that game. I had fantasy implications, and I wanted to see what the Colts had for the Browns. Gardner Minshew, they threw it 55 times. And granted, they were down bad because at the end of the first, it was 3-0. And I go, okay, and Jacksonville made some really bad mistakes. Then they just ripped off 21 points in the second quarter, came right on back. 55 times with Gardner Minshew. If they do that Sunday, the Browns are going to walk to a win. With this defense and how they're playing, sacked 3 times, 3 interceptions. He's not good. Gardner Minshew's not good. The biggest thing for Indy is now, apparently Anthony Richardson thinks he might have to have shoulder surgery and end the season. Tank job incoming for the Colts, which is crazy because they're 3-3, I think. Also, Jonathan Taylor at 8 carries. Kind of interesting. To Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence got hurt. He hurt his knee. And there's a couple impactful injuries to come out. I think they're waiting for an MRI on that. But, like, Lawrence, remember when I called Jacksonville frauds? I'm not ready to get off of that. Trevor Lawrence might be a fraud. Like, for a guy that people thought might win the MVP, also, he's averaging like 200 yards a game. Yesterday, $181, 2 touchdowns, and interception. It's almost like a sophomore slump, even though he's in his 3rd year. Seriously. He had the first year with Urban, which you just kind of throw away, and you're like, thank God you survived. Came out like a madman with Doug Peterson last year, and now you're just getting a sophomore slump in year 3. Sophomore slump with Doug Peterson for Trevor Lawrence. That's what's happening with the Jags. I can trust them to a point. They're 4-2. They're a good football team. They're going to win the AFC South. But I'd like a little more out of Trevor Lawrence. I just would.
Alrighty, well, the Panthers almost continued what was a very, very weird week in football. They went up 14-0 in the first quarter. However, that offense went crazy. They end up winning it 42-21. Raheem Mostert again with 3 touchdowns.
I mean, yes, that is super impressive. Here's where I'm kind of at with Tyreek Hill. He is in the era of like Travis Kelce, like Jamar Chase to a point, Christian McCaffrey, where the whole defense is probably wired to stop him, and they can't. They literally cannot stop Tyreek Hill. That's a game where it's almost like the Dolphins were just blanking around a little bit. And it was like a tester to see, like, all right, we'll let the Panthers get out to this. It had that feel. They were just toying with them, which is funny because the Panthers are a cat, not a dolphin. I'm sorry. That was bad. They were toying with them. They were just blanking around with them. And it was now Miami comes out of it and goes, see how good we are? See how good we are that we can just kind of screw around for a little bit and still come back? Yeah, yes, it's the Panthers. They're 0-5. Give them something good to feel about a little bit. Miles Sanders is hurt for them now. Like Bryce Young, just don't get him hurt. That's it.
Alrighty, well, Minnesota got a scrappy win against the hapless Bears, 19-13. But the biggest news out of that game is Justin Fields left early with an injury.
That's going to be a tough one because I saw, what did they say? No, the X-rays were negative, but they still need an MRI. Proceed with caution there. And that's the hard thing because I think Ryan Poles, their GM, is in a good spot. I don't think Matt Eberflus is. But you got to protect him. You got nothing without him. But, bro, he was sacked 4 times in that game. The Vikings still suck. There's no part of me that thinks they're any good, and especially without Justin Jefferson. I like Jordan Addison as much as the next guy. They can't win without Justin Jefferson. I would be begging Kirk Cousins to waive that no-trade clause. My only take on that and it came out over the weekend. For those who don't know, Kirk Cousins is basically in the last year of his deal. He is super cheap for any team that wants to trade for him. But he has a full no-trade clause. And he doesn't want to leave Minnesota. It's where his family is. It's where his young kids are at. I can respect that as a family man myself. Completely understand that.
Alrighty, well, let's go.
Sorry. It was a dramatic pause for me. I'm sorry, long pause for me. But when it comes out that he is not willing to waive his no-trade clause, Ryan, what is that? That's a negotiation tactic.
Yep.
To go to some of these teams, say, you really want him, you got to have to pay. Because we'll get to that Jets game in a second, I'm sure. The Jets might be reinvigorated here to say, you know what, if we just had Kirk Cousins, we might be able to make something out of this. I still think Atlanta, man. If Atlanta, and I don't know. There are a couple quarterback needy teams. I'd be begging Kirk Cousins to waive his no-trade clause. Vikings need a tank. It'll cost Kevin O'Connell his job, but they're not very good. Bears are hapless. They need to sit Justin Fields, and they'll be looking for a new coach at the end of it all, too.
Alrighty, well, C.J. Stroud and the Texans are one of the more surprising teams this year. They defeat the Saints 20-13 to go to 3-3 on the year. C.J. Stroud just 199 yards, but also 2 touchdowns. He did throw his first interception of the season after that rookie record.
I said it at the draft, and I can sit here 6 games in and start patting myself on the back. C.J. Stroud was always the better pick than Bryce Young. I didn't like anything about Bryce Young. I'm sure he's a nice young man. He put up a lot of numbers. No. Just on the height and the stature alone, no. And now you get a guy like C.J. Stroud who has that NFL build for sure, and then you hear him talk about the game, and you realize, like, dude, he's picking this up quick. I think they got something brewing down there with Houston and DeMeco Ryans, who I'm a big fan of, too, as the head coach. What are the Saints? Seriously, what are the Saints? They put up 13 points with Alvin Kamara. Michael Thomas, I thought, was going to have a little bit of a breakout year. You still have Chris Olave, and you traded for Derek Carr, or signed Derek Carr. What the hell's up with the Saints? I think Dennis Allen's not a good... I don't think Dennis Allen's a good coach. A defensive-minded guy, I'd shy away from that anyway. I don't think Dennis Allen's very good. That New Orleans Saints team, I think they're fake. Right? Keep an eye on them. And I say that because as we make our picks, there's going to be games that I'm going to pick the Saints again. Frankly, I picked them in this game. I did. Obviously, I lost. I'm going to chalk that up right now. Win for Ryan, though. Well done. Go. I should be updating as we do those games. So both you and I picked Chicago -3 or +3, and obviously they didn't cover. They lost by 6. Lost there. Just keep that in mind. Watch out for New Orleans. I don't think I can trust them.
Alrighty, well, Bill Belichick versus former disciple Josh McDaniels.
That one I knew. That one I felt really good about. You and I both had.
Well, they covered on a last-minute safety, and boy, is there trouble in New England.
Yeah, I mean, how they're going to keep riding this with Mac Jones, I don't understand. Because they've played it to a point where he's scared to save his job. They said, oh, yeah, we have this package for Malik Cunningham, and he went in there and got sacked. Look at Zeke Elliott, though, a little bit of wiggle. I know it got called back, but still really good on them. For Vegas, Jimmy Garoppolo was hurt. Brian Hoyer was slinging it a little bit out there, though. I watched the second half of that game. I go, look at Brian Hoyer out there. Well done. Good cover there. Raiders, they'll keep around 500. They're not going to make the playoffs, especially if Jimmy Garoppolo was hurt. And New England's got a lot of trouble. They need to get out of there. They need a quarterback. They need to trade for Kirk Cousins. They need to do something.
Alrighty, well, the Lions. How about those Detroit football Lions?
That was a fun game.
5-1, beat Tampa Bay and Baker 20-6. Goff 353 yards, 2 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown 12 catches, 124 yards, and a touchdown.
I mean, that was, I think, a borderline statement win for the Lions because some people had them on upset alert. Tampa Bay was coming off the bye. People want to look at Baker. He came out and he said the offense was blank. It was SISH. You know what? It was bad. And you got to take accountability for that a little bit. For some of those things for Baker in the past. I thought that was actually a really gutsy performance there for Detroit. I keep wanting to count them out. I keep wanting to say that I don't believe in the Lions, and I have to. That was a really nice win for Dan Campbell and his crew.
Yeah, it was. Alrighty, well, into L.A., the Rams. Slow start for them, but they beat the Cardinals pretty handily, 26-9. Cardinals fall to 1-5. The Rams go to 3-3.
Same thing, a little like, it was 9-6 at half. It was a weird game, and you kind of just were waiting around for the Rams to take that game. Cardinals don't have much going for them. The tank is fully in. Don't bring Kyler back for this year because they're going to try to trade him. Good luck, man. What a mistake that contract was. They got nothing going. Rams, they're kind of like Seattle. I bunched them and Seattle together. They're going to kind of be 500. They'll make things interesting. They'll get an upset win here and there. There are people that want to buy the Rams. Like, talking about buying or selling stock. There are people that want to buy the Rams stock. Still have Aaron Donald, still a decent defense, and they got Cooper Kupp back now. And they're starting to do him with Puka Nacua. Like, with Stafford and McVay, maybe they can make some things interesting there. There was no part of me during that game. And actually, I hedged my bet live. Because there was a point, I think that game opened at what? Rams -7? The Rams, I got them live at -1.5, Ryan. I jumped on that quick at half. And I was like, dude, there's no way they're losing that game. And they didn't. Solid win there for the Rams.
Already, well, it was a bad day to be 5-0 in the NFL. How about those Jets without Aaron Rodgers? They improved to 3-3. Philadelphia falls to 5-1, and we get the two unbeaten teams. They lose within a couple hours of each other.
Eagles thought they were walking to a win, and boy, were they proven wrong. Jalen Hurts, very un-Jalen Hurts. 3 interceptions. The one was there was the pick 6, right? There was one, or it got close, got inside. That was the dagger that let the Jets get the score there. I think it's one of those games you flush it. There's reports after the game that the players didn't even let Nick Sirianni speak, like Hurts and Jason Kelsey and A.J. Brown all stood up and was like, you better look yourselves in the mirror. And that's what that was. That was a trap loss there for the Eagles. I don't read too much into it. I still think they're a pretty good football team. They stubbed their toe. It is what it is.
Alrighty, well, we've got some pretty unentertaining primetime games so far this year. Another one with Buffalo and the Giants, a bit of a surprise. Buffalo's offense stalling pretty heavily, but they escape with a victory 14-9 in a game that came down to the final play with a questionable no call in the end zone.
Oh, there were some questionable calls, throughout the officiating. You want to know a loser from this weekend? The officiating across the NFL. I know the Browns game certainly had some. People were screaming at that London game, saying that it almost looked like they were rooting for the Titans. And I'm not, trust me, I ain't crying for the Ravens, but the officiating this weekend was atrocious. Just horrible. Yeah, it reared its ugly head in Sunday Night Football. Same thing. I think the Bills, they just took the Giants so lightly. All they had was Saquon Barkley. Make no mistake, man, Saquon Barkley is still damn good. And if I'm the Giants, I'm trading him away today. I'm calling any team that'd be willing to take him. I don't think you're getting a 1 for him, knowing that he needs a contract and he's a running back. But, dude, Saquon Barkley is still so good. And if I'm him, I probably don't want to be true. Well, maybe I do. If I'm him, I think I would want to be traded because if you can get to a better offense, you're going to really make some money in free agency. And if you're the Giants, any pick is better than nothing. If I'm Saquon Barkley, I'm not going back to the Giants. Even if they give you the best deal, I'm like, no. I've seen what this is. I know what this team is. Brian Dable screaming at Tyrod Taylor. Coach of the year, by the way, last year, Brian Dable. Things certainly have fallen there. If I'm Saquon, get me out of here. Get me traded now. Try to go to a contending team. And if you're the Giants, you get a draft pick, and then Saquon can maybe put up some numbers. I don't really have a fit. I'm trying to think of a team that's a contender that could really want Saquon Barkley and want to give up something for him. Somebody mentioned the Rams to me. Because they're running out there Kyrell Williams. They got rid of Cam Akers. I think that could be interesting. I don't know. We have to come up with a list, but if I'm Saquon, get the hell out of there. Buffalo slept walk, looked like they slept walk. Little scuffle there at the end. People like Josh Allen getting in the fray there. I wanted the Giants covering, though. I don't know why I took them. I think I even said on Friday's show I'm taking them just for no reason other than the fact of I smell something there. They got a good cover there. So we'll see. We'll get to our Monday Night Football pick to end the show and wrap things up. We still got to dive right back in the Browns here. Still got plenty to go. You want to call 216 626-7901. Our Twitter question is up. At Matt Fontana Show. Do you believe Sunday's game was the best, most gratifying win for the Browns since 1999? 67-33. People are still saying yes. With where we're at right now today, do you want to do good, bad, the ugly from yesterday? All right, so normally I do this after every game. I do the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's run through it, though. Obviously, I'm not going to have much bad or ugly from this game because it was all good. Well, let me scroll on down. And let me run through some of my good, the bad, and the ugly. Good, number one. Defense showed up. In a game that you needed them to, much like the Baltimore game, but under different circumstances. That was their most impressive game. You limited Joe Burrow in some bad weather. Okay, fine. You beat up on the Titans. Okay, fine. You took it to an offense. Yes, without Debo and Christian McCaffrey. I understand that. You still forced Brock Purdy on an interception. You still limited everything that they did. And did they get back down the field when they needed it? Sure. I said the defense showed up. There were some people who said, they didn't show up when it really counted. They didn't show up on that last drive. Get out of here. Come on. They had pressure. They were all over Brock Purdy, and they rattled him in that pocket against an offensive line that solid, but you still had the advantage. And I think when I specifically look at that defense, I saw a lot of different guys making plays. I saw a lot of different guys flying around. So certainly, defense, Jim Schwartz, they showed up. Number two, the ball found David Njoku. And that's a game where I would like to read into it more. It was only 3 receptions. It's so funny, Ryan, with Njoku. And tell me if this is just me. But I always end the game and I'm like, he had like 10 receptions. He had 3. It just seems to matter a little bit more. And it wasn't Watson, he wasn't in there. But I want the ball to Njoku more. Like, he had 4 targets for 3 receptions, 24 yards in that game. I want him at 6-7 targets a game. Yeah. Like, I think he should be the second most targeted player on this team.
Well, if anything, he's got a little bit of unlucky Sunday there with that one touchdown called back due to that Wyatt Teller hold. And then Jedrick Wills wanted to go out there and run a route.
Well, you know what? Honestly, you're right. Both of those were in Joe. You're right. Yep. That's probably why I think it's more, because he always seems to get those called back. You're 1,000% correct.
Yeah, Jed Wills, he had some quick feet on that little route he wanted to run there.
That rule seems so stupid in the NFL. It's a yard. You can't get whatever. But Njoku, and yeah, that's probably why I feel so much more, because he did have more receptions than he kept calling back. I think that's what tells you what this offense could be with him. I want to see it implemented more with Watson. Backup quarterback PJ Walker, and some of those are screens, but it'd be easy to throw it to the tight end. It's always seemed to be the safety blanket for the receivers. You start doing that, I think this is something that's really going to turn the offense. Here's your question from the stat book from yesterday, Ryan. Do you know who the second most targeted Brown was yesterday? Amari Cooper had 8. Who had 7?
Was it a running back?
No.
Wasn't Kareem? Okay.
Kareem Hunt had the second most. He and Njoku both had 3 receptions for 24 yards. That was second on the team.
Okay, then it wasn't Elijah Moore.
It was Elijah Moore.
Oh, it was? Okay.
7 targets. Just 4 receptions for only 19 yards. Yeah, I don't know. I go back and forth on like shoehorning in more. Here's what I'm saying. I want more Elijah Moore. I've said that on the show. I'd rather now start to shoehorn David Njoku a little bit. I'd rather start to get him the football a little bit more. 7 targets for Elijah Moore on top of the 1 carry. That might be too much, but nonetheless, seeing Njoku get the football is great. Also good for me, very clearly Amari Cooper. Like, his route running, his precision, his separation, all of those things are still top level. As he is 30, as he's got money, I've said, I want the Browns to keep Amari Cooper. That might not be the smartest financial move, and I understand where the Browns want to say that, and there's a world that they still move on from Amari Cooper. But I see him, Ryan, and I say just Amari Cooper was so big in that game, and I think he's going to be a big part of this offense moving forward. Again, continuing on with good, bad, the ugly. Good. Kareem Hunt usage was better. I think as you talk about who's going to get the majority of the carries, Jerome Ford or Kareem Hunt, I don't care. And they do bring two different things. Jerome Ford's got the speed on the edge. Hunt's kind of in between the tackles, more of the bruiser. There's an element that you can use that to your advantage and split the carries like they did yesterday. But getting him some impactful carries, including the touchdowns, including the touchdown, was great. I like the divide of the carries. 17 for Jerome Ford, 12 for Kareem Hunt. I'd live with that ratio all day. I'd live with that any single Sunday that they want to play. And even with Watson returning, there's something to a little confidence, I think, for Kevin Stefanski and Deshaun Watson for this offense when they get rolling to say, I think we found something in the run game. That was the best game since Nick Chubb got hurt, in my opinion. I know the yardage might be different a little bit, but the runs that I saw to get down the field late like you did with some big, grown-ass runs there from Jerome Ford, I loved it. So I said specifically Kareem Hunt usage. But Ryan, I'll say the run game yesterday was something that I really liked. I thought it was really on the good.
Yeah, I was excited to see Jerome Ford. Obviously, kind of started slow, but really all I can ask for a rookie back is to improve as the game goes on. And he had some big runs in the fourth quarter. I know that one play where you kind of try to make something out of nothing. He's just kind of got to get vertical and go down on that one. But he's a rookie. I'm sorry, he's not a rookie, but this is his second year. But I was happy to see him get better as the game went on. And Kareem Hunt truly had his best game in a while in a Browns uniform. So I was happy to see it.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because I'll add this to the good. I don't think the Browns had that implosion play yesterday, Yeah. And that with Watson throwing the football backwards and Dorian Thompson, PJ Walker, to his credit, I know he had a couple interceptions, but there wasn't this crazy reverse. And the runs that you gave to Marquise Goodwin and Elijah Moore kind of worked, but you didn't have that play that we all just go, oh God, something that just took the momentum out or really backed you up. Like, I felt pretty good about that. I felt pretty good about the Browns just avoiding that shoot yourself in the foot type of play, which I loved. Another good, MJ Emerson.
Yep.
The Browns have got a player there in MJ Emerson. And I don't want to play that game today about, all right, well, what does that mean for Greg Newsome? Because I'll do the bad and the ugly. I said I avoided it, but there's some bad and there's some ugly. MJ Emerson's a player, man. And they found him that height that we talk so much about. He is good in coverage, and he can stick with some of the faster wide receivers in the NFL. I like MJ a lot. Bad. Okay. Kevin Stefanski's situational decision-making. Sure. Okay. I give him the pass on the fake punt because I liked it.
I did too.
You want to talk, people, Ryan, they got to bug up their ass about the timeout. That's what it is. Oh, you could have run that play without wasting the timeout. I liked it. You brought this formation in to give every appearance that you were going to sneak it. And I know it gets out of hand. I know it gets a little crazy about going forward and what the analytics say and all that kind of stuff. But I liked it. I like the aggressiveness. And you're trying to pick up a cheap 5 yard. Anytime. I don't understand why coaches... Well, I guess I understand because there's a fear that you jump offside. If it is ever 4th and less than 5, why would you not hard count it? Why would you not try to pick up a free 5 yards? Even in that scenario, just take your 5 yards back up and punt. That's fine. No problem. You have to give the optic of time from time. You got to run it sometimes. You actually have to run a play sometimes because if you always line up on 4th and just hard count and you never do anything, defenses know that and they ain't going to do anything. They're just going to sit there and say, go ahead, run it. But I love that. I liked it. So I'm going to give him a pass on that. I liked it. The situational with PJ Walker down in the end zone, yes, that is something that is there. But on the whole, I thought Kevin Stefanski played fine. Penalties, yes. A hold on Teller, the down the field with Jed Wills. Those are ones that in a game like that would normally sink this team. And they found a way to get a win. Did you see the stat? And I'm pulling this up. That was the most penalized game in the NFL this season. The 49ers, very uncharacteristically, 12 penalties, 105 yards. Browns 13 for 119. So what is that? 25 combined penalties for 224 yards. Proud of myself for that math on the fly.
Nice.
I am. Most penalized game in the NFL this season. Again, you don't want those to sink you. Ryan, those were some penalties that should have sunk you.
Oh, yeah.
Those were some penalties that really could have changed the momentum, taken things back. The Browns persevered. Make no mistake, And that is the ugly of that. You have got to clean that up. You have got to clean those penalties up.
That first drive was not pretty. It was not a sight to be held. And I'm so impressed that they went down that early 7-0 and that damn Christian McCaffrey touchdown. But we bounced back so well, and it was so great to see.
Well, and there's two types of penalties. There's mental error penalties. They call them MEs. And when you grade out in an NFL film room, they will grade you on MEs. Mental errors is you didn't line up properly, you ran the wrong route, you had the wrong protection, whatever. But those are pre-snap penalties. Illegal motions, illegal formations, false starts. Those, no coach accepts penalties. Those are the ones that really infuriate coaches. The flow of the game, DPI, illegal contact, but the one that I think a lot of coaches are starting to just really get annoyed with are the linemen down the field. And that's what Jed Wills got popped with. It was a big conversation to be had about the Browns, how the offensive line needed to change what they did because of Deshaun Watson, because he runs so much, because he keeps plays alive, and guys need to hold their water. They need to stay at the line. Like, that is one that I just, holding, some can be subjective. Some are obvious. You yank the guy down, you pull him down. Okay, I get it, right? But those ones annoy me. Those ones. So without a doubt, that is something I'm sure the Browns, because as a coach, you want to come out and you still want to have things that are correctable and to be critical. Kevin Stefanski talking penalties today. He is talking penalties with his team because that was the ugly part of the game. So there it is. Good, the bad, the ugly. All right, let's do this, Ryan. Let's catch a break. I want to talk Ohio State. I want to talk college. Dan Lanning, what the hell was he doing? I have no idea. So let's do this. Let's take our break. Final break of the morning. We'll take you up to 11 o'clock. We're almost there. We'll take a break. We'll do college. We'll wrap it up with the Browns, and we'll get our picks for Monday Night Football with Tipico. Maybe some baseball selections. Thank God I didn't bet that game yesterday, Ryan, because I am the angel of death. But I will make a wager on baseball tonight.
Can you just do me a favor and just bet the Astros for the rest of the playoffs?
Sure. I'd love to watch them lose. I hate the Astros more than anything. But that all being said, tonight we got two games. And I got a lock Ryan Tyler for tonight. I'll get to you next with Tipico. Final break. Stay with us. we're back here on Big Play. We got a lot to do over the next 20-odd some minutes to wrap up the show. We'll talk Buckeyes. We'll get our picks for tonight, both Monday Night Football and maybe a little bit of baseball. If you watch the show, if you know the show, I have been the angel of death when it comes to betting on baseball. So you should probably fade my picks, but it ain't going to stop me with Tipico. So we'll get to that coming up in a little bit. And we'll wrap up with some Browns, kind of where they go from here. And again, I think a really important week for the Browns. We'll get to all that. But Ohio State, well done, 41-7 over Purdue. Exactly what we needed them to do, Ryan. I felt really good about that game. They were in control of that game. And I do think that that was a game that you want to have going into, dude, what is going to be a massive game against Penn State. Some people are pissed this is a noon kick this weekend. But you needed that game to get Kyle McCord right. Was he perfect? No. But he was pretty good. 16 out of 28, 3 touchdowns. The other part was the perseverance, right? So they sit out Emeka Egbuka. And granted, okay, you still have Marvin Harrison and throw him the football. Probably a good idea. But then you don't have Travion Henderson. You don't have Mayan Williams. And then Chip Trayanum goes out. And Dallin Hayden, shout out to him. They want him to redshirt. He showed up, ran for 76 yards in the score. But I thought that told you something about Ohio State. Yes, is it Purdue? Are they not very good? Yes, all of that. It's still a really hard place to play. And I thought the Buckeyes needed that win. A little perseverance. We got some things going against us. But you got to get Kyle McCord right. You need a game like you had for Kyle McCord where he could just feel good. And you mixed in Devin Brown. And I know a lot of people have this on Twitter, and they're right, and they're smart. You know that was just given a little bit to James Franklin. So say, don't forget about Devin Brown. Devin Brown might not see the field on Sunday. He might not even for 2 seconds take the field on Sunday. But now, going into the game, you gave him that opportunity to think about it. So good job on Ryan Day's part. He fumbled going into the end zone. Ryan Day was livid. He was pissed. I don't blame him. But I thought Ohio State did exactly what they needed to do. Now you turn your attention to this Purdue team. It's in Columbus. It's a noon kick. I know some people don't like that. But you go into this game feeling like you should be able to get this done. And I don't mean to crap on Drew Aller. He's the quarterback. He's a Medina kid on Penn State. Ryan, they've beaten no one. Penn State is undefeated. Ohio State, and I didn't even look at this. This is a bad job on me for my prep. To go to Tipico, all sport. Again, I love it. All sports. In 2 clicks, I am to college football. I scroll on down to Saturday. Noon slate. Ohio State -4.5. Lock that. Penn State has beaten no one. West Virginia, Delaware, Illinois, Iowa, Northwestern, and then they beat up on UMass 63-0 last week. I think Penn State's phony. And you added that it's in Columbus. I might as well grab this now before it moves because it's going to move. 4.5. What do you think?
I don't know, Matt.
Oh, come on, Ryan.
I'm always a Buckeye pessimist, so.
No, you want to know what? I'm not doing that. I take that back. I'm cashing it out right now, which, again, I love with Tipico. I just placed that back. I'm going back. Ryan, I'm taking an alternate spread. That's how confident I am on the Buckeyes. I'm taking a -7.5. Dude, they're going to roll. Penn State's beat no one. They've played no one. And you had a game for Ohio State that you needed. Got right. Got Kyle McCord in the flow. To the game, one of the many games of the year. Like the Red River Shootout was awesome. I'd have made Dan Lanning swim back to Eugene. I'd have taken him out of the Washington Stadium. I'd have thrown him into the ocean, or if it was a river or wherever it was at. I'd have thrown him in there, but you swim your ass back to Eugene. Malpractice. Does Dan Lanning know that you can kick field goals? Does he know that? Were they 0 for 3 on pivotal 4th downs when they needed it? 2 of them were inside the 10, Ryan. What in the hell were they doing? Well, the analytics say this. When you don't convert 2 of them, stop trying. Just take your points. And I said that. What that game would have been had they just kicked the field goals. And the new AP poll is out. They only dropped to 9. So there's an outside chance they can get back into this, I guess. But holy God. The one thing I will say about that game, and that's nothing to take away from Michael Penix, who took that shot in the gut. And, man, a gutsy performance from him. And you and I said that last week, Ryan. You're right on. He has to be now the favorite to win the Heisman. Did we look at those odds on Tipico?
Yeah, listen to this, Matt. This is kind of crazy, right? So on Friday, we were talking to Sonny Gupta about how it was Michael Penix, Caleb Williams, and Bo Nix. However, Michael Penix is now minus 145 to win the Heisman. Bo Nix dropped to plus 2,500, and now Dylan Gabriel is second at plus 950.
We will talk USC coming up with Caleb Williams. Hey, do not let me forget on Friday to thank Sonny was so on Notre Dame for that game. He was so right on. Good call. That's why we have Sonny on Fridays. If you missed it, folks, Sonny Gupta's Tipico Sportsbook Manager. We have him on every Friday to do picks in college and stuff. He was all over Notre Dame. He loved that Notre Dame play, and they smoked him. The thing is, and this is sour grapes for me because I picked Oregon. And Penix threw 4 touchdowns. He was amazing. I thought Oregon was the better team. I really thought Oregon was the better team in that game. And their coach lost them that game. Like, not to Mario Cristobal level, because nobody will ever get to that with Miami. But damn, Dan Lanning, malpractice on there. Give credit to Washington. Do you know who's really sweating? Oh, they don't care because the Pac-12 is going to get dissolved. The question is, did you see enough from Washington to feel like they can make the playoffs? Did you see stuff from Washington? Because they have Arizona State, Stanford, 2 wins. Then they go back-to-back on the road, USC, and then home against Utah. And they still have Oregon State. That's going to be a tough way out there for Washington. That was a gutsy one. To USC, they're fried. They're cooked. Caleb Williams' Heisman odds, gone. He will not win it. They weren't going to give it to him anyway. I was saying that before the season. Like they don't want a 2-time. They don't want a back-to-back again like Arch. But, yeah, man. I mean, Notre Dame, like, they seem to be that team that if they had, it's shocking because they have the 2 losses. Ryan, they're playing like a team that deserves to be in the playoffs. They really are. Yeah. And they smoked them. Like, they weren't even close in that game. Overall, I thought it was a good weekend for college football. I enjoyed it. It's nice, too. I guess that's the nice thing about, like, Ohio State at noon. I could watch that game. I could sit down for the 3:30 slate, running around with kids. It was funny because, like, my son is 2. And you know what I taught him over the weekend, right? I taught him how to play football.
There you go.
So his new thing is, I'll say, do you want to play football? And he goes, yeah. So what he does is he squats down and he just puts his finger on the ground. And
he's a little lineman.
Yeah, I go, say hike. And then he runs at dad. And then he tackles me and all that kind of stuff. I taught him that during the Oregon-Washington game. Because, like, we don't want our kids watching a lot of TV, but what else are you going to do, right? So that game was on, and I felt bad because my wife's got the newborn, or the infant, and, like, I'm playing with my son. And I was like, honey, I'm sorry, I have to watch this game. Like, this game is coming down to it. I've got some minor credits on it. Like, I need to watch. So I'm in the background while I'm playing with him, and he was watching the game, and it was a fun game to watch. Like, it was a good slate on Saturday there for the college ranks. Back to the pros we go, and Monday Night Football. Tipico, folks. We do the graphic. You see the QR code. Get signed up. Tipico, use the code BIGPLAY150. You deposit $50 and you get $150 in bonus bets plus that free $30 dog pound futures bet. It's all you need with Tipico. You can bet with us as you go on all season long. We do a lot of Big Play, Big Bet show there with Dave and Nick. And I think, is Ted getting a permanent fixture on that show?
I believe he is.
All right, good picks there coming from those guys. And they do a re-airing of that on Sundays, which I think is a really good idea on our social media platforms. So you can always get that, but we're hooked up here with Tipico, and we love it. Like, dude, I just placed that bet. It's super easy. In 2 clicks, I'm to the Ohio State Penn State game. And I said, I first jumped on the 5-0. Ryan, they put alternate spreads right on the home screen. What did I say? I like Ohio State. I can get them at -6 right now for plus 102. Game props are there. It's everything that you want. Tipico, use that code BIGPLAY150, folks. Get signed up today. It's so much fun to play. It is a lot of fun. You put a couple of bucks here and there, and you're in. So, again, football. Should I take a -6? I want to do the alternate spread here, but I kind of want it at 7.5. Maybe I should wait because that'll open up as the game gets closer. I'll wait and I'll get that. Scroll on through, make your picks with Tipico, including baseball, which we'll get to in a second. But let's get to Monday Night Football. Dallas Cowboys traveling to SoFi to take on the Chargers. Cowboys coming in 3-2 after they just got,
dismantled.
I mean, they just, you won't want to read into that game as much, but the 49ers took it to them. And then for the Chargers, they're a team that coming off their bye, if I'm not mistaken, I think they had a bye.
Yep, they're 2-2.
Lost their 2 opening games, rebounded against the Vikings and the Raiders. They're a team that I can't really get a vibe on. They're a team that I can't really understand. So let's start with this one. It is Dallas as a road 1.5 favorite coming into this one. Over under set at a high 46.5. Let me get to some trends here on this one. I will start with Dallas. They are 12-6 straight up in their last 18 games, but what they don't do is play the Chargers well. Dallas is only 2-4 straight up and against the spread in their last 6 games against the Chargers. On the road, though, Dallas is 4-1 in their last 5 games in LA, in San Diego, when it was the point. So the over-under for Dallas, under 6 of their last 9 games and under 5 of Dallas's last 7 games on the road. Cowboys do coming in 9-2 against the spread, their last 11 games played in the month of October. You flip it over for the Chargers, 4-1 straight up in their last 5 games at home, but they're only 2-4 straight up in their last 6. The over has hit 4 of the Chargers' last 6 games. 1.5 for this one, Ryan. I don't like my gut in this one because my gut says take the Chargers. I think this could be a bounce back game for Dallas. Where are you leaning?
I'm fading all day Dak on the road.
Okay.
So I'm rolling with the Chargers. Bolt up.
All right. Let's get the public money here on this one. 54% of the public money is on the Chargers. 46% is on the Cowboys. All right, I'll ride with you. Chargers minus that 1.5 tonight. LAC. That's kind of why, I think there's a bounce back coming. You know what I mean? Dallas is not great. Oh, sorry, plus. We're plus 1.5. Just take them on the money line, to be honest with you. It's probably what I'll do for tonight. Odds. What are they on? Tipico. Plus 105 for the Chargers on the money line. Our boosts for tonight, how about this? Any of the 3 following players to score a touchdown. Tony Pollard, Austin Eckler, CeeDee Lamb, or Keenan Allen. That is boosted to plus 205. Dak Prescott to record more rushing yards than Justin Herbert. Plus 110. How about your big boost of the day? They're calling this the Manic Monday boost on Tipico. Each team to score in every quarter. Ryan, that is plus 700. You don't like it?
No, I don't.
No, you don't like it? All right, I'm going to take the Chargers on the money line straight up. We'll take them plus the 1.5, but we'll certainly take them on the money line. So we'll both ride with the Chargers for tonight. To baseball. Fade me if you will, young Ryan. I'm staying away from the Astros and the Rangers. I probably should just keep picking the Astros. To put the Maloik on them because I'd love nothing more for them to lose. But I do have a bet for the evening game. It is what a pitching matchup. Zach Gallen, Zach Wheeler, Phillies, Diamondbacks. I feel really good about the Phillies minus a 1.5. This run for the Diamondbacks has been phenomenal. Okay. It has been one of the stories of sports right now. I think they're going to get smoked. I think their gas might run out a little bit. The Phillies seem to be a team that they know they should win this series. You need to go out with a little bit of motivation to wrap it up quick and get a break before you get to the World Series. Phillies will win this series. I feel really confident about that, so I'm going to take them minus a 1.5. Boosted odds for tonight between the Diamonds and the Phillies. Both teams to record a hit in the first inning. Plus 220. I'll put $5 on that. What's 5 give me? $16? I like it on that little boost. Hell yeah, I do. My bets. Yeah, I'm in, man. I'm in for 16 there on a little boost there for both team to record a hit in the first inning. That is for the late game, by the way. There's also one other boost for that one. Zach Gallen and Zach Wheeler each to record 6 strikeouts. That is plus 220. I Kind of like that. I think it's going to be a pitching matchup. I like the under on the 7. I like the Phillies minus a 1.5. I think they win this game like 4-1. I think something like that around there. All right, the other game tonight, the ALCS, game 1. You've got Valdi and Valdez going. Of course, the Rangers getting a 2-0 win yesterday. This is a 4:37 first pitch, which is a little bit interesting here. Rangers are the run line favorite at minus a 1.5, but the Astros are the money line favorite minus 120. Nathan Eovaldi to how about this? If you think the Rangers are going to win, you can do a boost on Tipico. Eovaldi 5 strikeouts and the Rangers to get 5 hits is plus 360. Or you think the Astros are going to win. They're going to score first, last, and win plus 360. I'm staying away from that game. I kind of think the Astros bounce back, though, so I might take that boost plus 360 of the Astros to score first and last and win right there with Tipico. All right, our bets are in for the night. Have a fantastic night watching a lot of sports here with our friends at Tipico. Again, use that code BIGPLAY150 when you sign up, and you can join the action. Here's the thing. You get those boosts, Ryan. You throw $30 on some of those as your bonus bet. You'd be living large there for your bankroll. Start to build it up just a little bit. Great day today. Today's one of those days you just feel so good. The Browns had a fantastic win. I'm going to feel real good about it today. Probably still feel real good about it tomorrow. And then we eventually need to move forward. But today's not the day, so enjoy it. But Ryan, we'd be remiss if we didn't end the show with a major show announcement that it is back. The Big Play Bracket of the Week. I did this for a long time, my other spot. We're going to bring the bracket back. So nobody, listen, I hate March Madness. I do. I hate college basketball. But everybody loves filling out a bracket. So we will do that starting today. The bracket is back. Here's how it's going to work. We will have 16 entries. We will announce every week on Monday what the bracket will be. Today, your favorite pop. We got into a debate on pop. Oh, Coke versus Pepsi. Because Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse flipped. And I said, I like Pepsi, but I like the Coke Freestyle machines. And we got into this long-standing debate. So here's what we do. Every Monday, I will send a tweet out at MattFontaine83 and ask you for submissions. So your favorite candy, your favorite movie, like we'll tell you what the bracket will be every week. You give us the options to fill out the bracket. Usually we do 16. And then starting on Tuesday, the brackets will come out. Usually we do 2 brackets Tuesday, Monday, it depends. Depends how many we have. We'll do brackets Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and announce our winner on Friday. So this week it'll be your favorite pop. I will send this out, and I'm going to put it in the tweet as well, Ryan. We need to be specific. So you can't just say root beer. It's got to either be Mug, which is the real answer, or Barks. My wife likes Barks root beer. It's a big divide in our house. Mug root beer is so good. So it can't just be like root beer, right? It's got to be something specific. So we'll send that out. We'll fill the bracket. Ryan's going to have a nice graphic for us tomorrow to lay it out and tell everybody where it's at and where it's at. We got into it last week, Ryan, because when we started the show, that was something that I had brought. And I said, we should probably do the bracket. And we got rolling. We started getting some other things, but I love it. I'm really excited for it. So we'll do that. We'll submit your answers at MattFontaine83. Early prediction, Ryan. Who do you think is going to win the bracket?
I think a big favorite's got to be Diet Coke or Diet Coke. I think that might be one of the front runners.
Got to be specific on it. So we're going to rebrand it a little bit. It's going to be called the Big Plate Bracket, and we'll do that every single week. Obviously, Halloween next week, so we'll do a Halloween theme one. And I got a long running list of brackets that we'll do. So I'm excited. I'm excited to do it. I am. It was something that I had done for a long time. I think people really like it. It gets people involved, and everybody's got an opinion. We'll always strive to make these brackets that everybody's got an opinion on it. So we're happy to have you. Appreciate everybody joining us today. What a Victory Monday it was. Bottle it up. Enjoy the hell out of it. Lunch is going to taste that much better if you're getting ready to go eat lunch, whenever the time might be. You'll get out of work. You'll just be feeling better. So enjoy the hell out of Victory Monday. And don't forget, we got you covered all day right here on Big Play. So Chico's coming up at noon to 2. iHeart app, as always, streaming on Facebook and YouTube. And then a little bit later tonight, is it 9 o'clock for Reflog?
Yep.
9 o'clock. Reflog show tonight. Nick will be there. Gab will be there. They'll certainly have a lot to react to following what was an amazing Browns victory. So again, Big Play. If you need anything, just go to bigplay.com and get us nice Big Play swag, if you will. Our show schedules are there. The app is coming very, very soon with Big Play. And if you just ever need to stream us, go to the iHeart app. Download it for free. Just search Big Play, and you're in. and you're rocking. You can listen to us, replays of the show, or if you want them on demand, they're on Twitter at Matt Fontana Show, YouTube Matt Fontana Show, Facebook, and Instagram, which is certainly picking up a lot of steam as well with our IG at Matt Fontana Show. Really appreciate everybody joining us. You spend 5 minutes with us. We love it. We thank you so much for that, and we'll be back tomorrow, 2 for Tuesday, 9 to 11. Going to effort Ashley Bastock to join us one day this week as well to recap what was a big Browns win. Dude, it feels so good. 2 hours of the showdown. We're coming up on almost 24 hours after the game. Like, dude, this feels so good. Enjoy it. Browns got a big one yesterday. Yesterday was massive. We're going to enjoy it. Waiting on some news on Deshaun Watson, though. Positivity is going to be the name of the game for the week. Great stuff for your Monday. You're getting through it. Victory Monday always feels a little bit better. For Ryan Tyler, I am Matt Fontana. Monday, kind of in the rearview mirror. And as always, take it easy.